Well, welcome back to Sunday Live. In studio with us now is Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum, Davis Chirchir. Thank you so much for joining us. We cannot, overstate the importance of access to affordable power, reliable power, one of the commanding heights of any economy, really an engine for growth. So we've been promised for the longest time lower costs in electricity. Some Kenyans are saying it's not happening. Others saying, okay, I'm noticing something, but let's get to the facts. What's happening, Bwana CS, to our bills at the moment?
Thank you, Julie. For a long time, we run our economy on rain-fed power generation, rain-fed agriculture, rain-fed, and it is as good as the weather. If it rains like it didn't rain this year, then you do emergency power and the cost goes out of the roof. Mm-hmm. What we've basically done is to ensure that we plan, and when we came to government, we developed a matrix that will ensure not again will we go to emergency power generation. We have, so you hear the 5,000 megawatts. It's a framework which is pre-dedicated on fundamentals of generations where the cost will be very low and will have reliable power. That's why we're doing a lot of geothermal. We want to do a coal, since we have coal in Kitui. Mm-hmm. And that way we will not go back to emergency. Plan forward. You hear the campaign running, and I've just seen a clip right now, plan for your power. Mm-hmm. Never in the history of Kenya have we asked you, tell us about your power plants so that we can plan for you for power for tomorrow. Rather than get into a situation where an investor is in town, he needs some 10 megawatts, and the generation is not available, and it can only be available in the shortest time, which is 2, 3, 4 years.
Let's go through in detail, and we'll come to, you've mentioned quite a few things, including alternative sources of energy, the role that the people play in this whole process. Let's start with the actual costs and what people are going to see, the changes they will see on their bills. What would you say to someone who's SMS'd us and said, and somebody did, I believe, SMS us and say, my bill has gone up by 1,000 shillings. What's the situation?
I think from August, September, October, like I'll demonstrate, and I came with some bills into the studio.
Right.
If a customer checks his bill today and you have your bills running from August, September, October, you'll realize that the bill you're paying has significantly gone down. What I'm holding here, and I don't know whether you could put it
we have the form and we can
on
put
the
it
screen,
on the screen.
For a customer, a real customer who I've just called customer X, mm-hmm. What we call the fuel charge cost has come down from a unit charge of 7.22 in August, mm-hmm. 7 shillings and 22 cents in August, to what I just gazetted on Friday at 3.47 for the bills which are coming out this week, starting tomorrow. And for this customer, and it is a real bill, because I have the bills here, the extractions are that the fuel charge cost has gone down, a corporate client, from 39.2 million to 18.8 million, a saving of about 20 million. That is what my president was saying, will that translate to lower cost of living to the end customer? And these are real numbers.
Right, and I just want to say, I heard my director there saying millions in shock. And yes, some people in this country are paying millions of shillings in bills. This is actually the actual bill of one of our bigger industrial players in the country. And translating, as you saw there, I think to a 52% drop. Many people not yet seeming to have felt it. Perhaps after the next couple of weeks, we can get feedback on whether you've seen this drop on your bill. It should have been happening actually from August, says
it happened from August, and it will go all the way into December, and by December we'll be hitting the 30% that the president promised, because we're bringing the last tranche of 70 megawatts over Olkaria 4, mm-hmm. Olkaria 1. You know, we've just put in some 210 megawatts onto the grid of geothermal power, which comes into the grid at 7 cents US. The fuel charge here is only 2 cents as compared to diesel, which we levy the customers at 17 cents for fuel alone. And this is phenomenal. In terms of us as a government, there is absolutely no way we'll attract the global firm to really set base in Kenya and manufacture for the world, mm-hmm. if we don't bring the cost down. So that's our agenda number one.
Let's move away from even attracting global investors to talk about the ordinary mwananchi right now. And for those who, I don't know if you heard before the break, a couple of people saying, look, I'm struggling to get connected to the grid. One person was in Migori, one person right here just outside of Nairobi saying, we are struggling. It seems right now electricity is for the elite. The majority can't access it. What changes do we expect to see, and how quick when the capacity increases, as it increases?
Julie, we have a program we call Last Mile Connectivity. We are working with Africa Development Bank on a facility of about 70 billion Kenya shillings to make sure that the grid is next to your home. Mm-hmm. And that way we'll be able to connect customers even for free if they are not able to afford that small connectivity charge. To a very good extent, it's not about affordability. It's about being competitive. If a farm was going to set up a shop in Kenya or Ethiopia or South Africa, it's not about affordability. It's about, am I going to be competitive if I set out shop in Kenya? Mm-hmm. And therefore, for us, it's not so much about ensuring that you can afford. It's about being the best when you put on South Africa as a competitor, when you put on Egypt, Mauritius, and the competitors where the farms would be, even our own industrial area.
Right.
We don't want our industrial area to be go-downs of warehousing, because today, from manufacturing to warehousing, because if it makes more business sense to warehouse, why should I manufacture? We've actually killed the job industry. And the insecurity we hear today is about the cost of power. It's
good to hear this, and I know right now the industrialists are sitting down going, yes, this is what we've been saying for years. I think it also introduces to the issue of cost and the issue of connectivity reliability, which we will come to. We got views from a few people across the country, what they felt about access to electricity. Let's see what they had to say.
Stima sahi imeaffect kasi yangu sana. Hata hakuna faida napata kwa hii kasi. Kwa sababu naweza pata hata kasi ya mlango kulingana saa hii ya customer wana pesa, naweza pata hata mlango 3 kwa mwezi, na mlango moja na uza 1400. Na 1400 ukipata mlango 3 kwa mwezi baada ya wezi lipa stima. Na stima inakuja 15,000, 20,000, hata ikuwe imepotea wiki moja, bado hiyo bili inakuja zaidi. Tunaweza kosa kuweka hata machine kwa stima kama hakuna kasi hata wiki, na bill inaruka tu. Hata sijui kwa watu wa Kenya Power hawana msimamo ya bill. Hapo ndio tuelewi mzuri.
Naomba serikali hii usaidie sisi apate stima, kwa sababu nateseka sana na hii ya moshi.
Najua watoto sasa hapa zaidi wanateseka. Na watoto wanasoma. Kama sasa hii kijiji, sasa hii family, mtoto ako university, alisoma na shida. Alianza tu na ita shida. Akajaribu, hata sasa hii macho yake hiyo kijana si mzuri, hata ukiangalia hii watoto macho si mzuri, sana kifua. Tunangojea hii maneno ya rural electricity ambaye sasa hii ni miaka 15 tukiongojea. Ni kama sasa hatuna tumaini kabisa.
Tuko na changamoto kadhaa, changamoto ikiwa ni stima. Manake hivi sasa tunaona bills zinakuja kubwa kuliko pale mbeleni, ambapo ndio inarudisha biashara nyingi za Malindi, hasa wafanyabiashara wa jua kali, biashara ndogo. Hawa ndio wanaumia zaidi, kwa sababu kila siku bili zinaongezeka za moto, badala ya kupungua zinaongezeka, na watu wengi wanashindwa na biashara. Mtu anafungua biashara kwa muda mfupi, unaona ameletwa bili kubwa, inabidi ile biashara afunge.
Ndani ya hii nyumba huwa anatumia tu hizi vifaa za kuona kaa televisheni na mabalbu, na ni hizi zenye hazikuli moto, lakini nakuta bili bado inakuja juu kwa mwezi, unakuta nalipa 2,500, zenye imekuja chini sana sasa ati ni 800.
So you hear the views there. For people who don't have electricity, they are asking, please bring it. And we know, even when it comes to security and the inability to communicate, to charge a mobile phone, it's a huge issue. But there are people who have electricity not trusting KPL's Kenya Power. I'll read a couple of SMSs to you. Somebody says, Sunday Live, Kisumu residents experience power rationing every evening from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Kindly clarify, that's Paul Oichi in Kisumu. And somebody else, this is unnamed, we experience power outages every day from 7 p.m. daily. Is our power substation fitted with rain sensors? As soon as the rains begin, it won't take a minute before the power goes off. So when it comes to Kenya Power and KenGen and the big players in this industry, is it time to seriously think about privatization and competition?
If you think of provision of power as a social concern, because it's a business, don't forget that Kenya Power is 50% listed in the stock exchange, and they need to make return for every shilling they put in for your shares that you buy in the stock exchange. But even having said that, government is putting a lot of investment into ensuring that we do connect our citizenry to be able to facilitate business. If you take, for example, the clip that raised concern on the school, the children studying in the school, we're putting power in all primary schools, and we made a commitment that by April next year, as we speak today, we have put power in some 14,254 schools by end of June last year.
14,000, over 14,000.
14,254. There is work in progress on some 3,309 schools, which will be completed by this December. And there are some which are undergoing design, 3,895, and work will start on those, and they will be completed by April 2015. And Julie, what will happen when power gets into every primary school? It basically means, because we all live around a primary school in terms of where our children go to school, the access to power to where you and me live in the rural area will mean when I have to get connection into my home, it won't be 3, 4, 5 kilometers away, because not very many of us live 4, 5 kilometers from a school anyway. But coupled with the last mile connectivity program, we will bring down the cost of connection significantly. And I want to assure those concerned Kenyan citizens that, particularly for Lokicha, where we have crude oil, or the area where we've been having challenges, we have to take power there very quickly, because even to get the oil out of the well, we need so much power to be able to pump oil. So not only are we powering the primary schools, getting power to those open areas because of the natural resource discovery, we are committed as government to make sure that we do give power. The challenges that we face today, particularly in Western Kenya, is more so because the generation happens in Eastern Kenya, it happens in Olkaria, and there's so much voltage drop by the time power is transmitted all the way to Western Kenya. We have a program which will ensure that those voltages are stabilized, and therefore the concern of voltages in the evening will not be an issue.
Right, I'm going to take tweets. We are nearly closing the interview, but we want to take a few tweets that you can respond to. And I need to tell you, actually, quite a lot of people tweeting about Turkana. So happy to hear that there's going to be progress made there. Let's take a look at the tweets now. A few of them that have come in. Pray Double O says, I hope this power the nation endeavor comes to completion within a set timeline. This will really move Kenya several steps ahead. Thank you for that. And Amida Chris says, I don't think the government is doing enough to find a permanent solution to the frequent power outages. Thanks for sharing your view. And Martin Okaho says, what is the CS doing to curb the middlemen, notorious in rural areas, who extort a minimum of 20,000 for one to get connected to power? So we've had this from several different areas, actually, including places like Nyeri, saying there's something going on that shouldn't be happening. What are you doing about it?
I think I would like to encourage the customers to make sure that they deal with Kenya Power offices rather than deal with middlemen, because as we bring down the cost of power, the middleman will definitely have to look for a way of vending for his livelihood. And then true, I mean, if you are going to go into reducing power the way we are reducing, I must confess that there are very many people who are unhappy about what we are doing. And then certainly
would like to maintain the status quo.
They would like to maintain the status quo. Middlemen, including facilitating for illegal connections. There are customers who will pay you or me to facilitate for an illegal connection. But we're working on frameworks now whereby illegal connections will be something of the past. So what happens to this person who has been connecting you and me to ensure that we don't pay for the bill? And then, of course, because power that is generated by the generators and sold to the off-taker is paid for, any power losses is paid for by you and me. Those are some of the things which make our power expensive.
Which we need to keep in mind. Finally, you may have seen, I think you did see the vote there, the poll. Is the government doing enough on providing electricity, reliable electricity supply to the country? It was 8% yes, a massive 92% no. This is your chance to have a final say to the nation on this issue. What would you like to tell the country?
There's been a challenge, like I started. For power generation is a program that will run for 2 to 3, 4 years. We've just been in government for 2 years, and we just rolled into the grid some 280 megawatts, something that is bringing down the cost of power for up to 30%. I want to give hope, because we're really working on this, and ask also and challenge the customers to check their bills, because what I brought to studio is true. Between August and November, the fuel charge cost, which translates to 52% and has brought down the cost of your bills by up to 20%, by December up to 30%, is true. Check your bill and you'll confirm that this is happening. Of course, you could be using more power and your bill will go up according to the megawatts or kilowatts that you use. But to the extent that you are using approximately the same cost of power, your bills are going down, going down, going down. And this we have to do because, like I said, we have to be a competitive destination. We have to sustain industrialization. We have to create jobs for our youth. We have to address insecurity.
Buenos dias. As we close, I just want to draw attention to the poll that was on the screen a moment ago. If they could put it back up. The numbers have slightly changed, I think, as you've explained, perhaps. The numbers now, is the government doing enough to ensure that every Kenyan has reliable electricity supply? Now it's yes, 13%, no, 87%. And perhaps we finish just with the statement that we're going to continue to keep pressure on you because to be competitive, we must set great standards and we have high expectations. So keep sharing your views. Buenos dias on Twitter. We will share. Citizen will share his Twitter handle so you can share your views with him and keep him updated on issues of middlemen, reliability, costs, and much more. Thank you so much for joining us on Sunday Live. Thank you.